what you're looking at is a simplified credit card statement. Okay. Now, the question was posed: why get a credit card if it's no good for actual credit? Well, you all need to write down this number. It is a very, very important number. 55. Does anyone know why this number is important? It's somewhat arbitrary. 55. 55 is the industry standard number of days from when you get loaned the amount on your credit card. 55 days elapse and then you've got to pay. Then they're going to start charging you interest. If you pay off what you have gone to the shops like 30 times in that month, right? And you've racked up, a few $1,000s of debt that you now owe Visa, that you now owe the bank, okay? If you pay that off within the 55 days, they don't charge you any interest. They just charge you, well, whatever you've actually purchased, okay? You wait after this, then they're going to start charging you, okay? 55 days. So here's the way my credit card works. Think about this, okay? I'm not using it to actually borrow money. Right? I'm not using it to actually borrow money. So therefore, I rubbed it off. I'm not actually paying any interest, okay? But over the course of a month, I might spend, say, $3,000 on groceries, on petrol, on resources, on all these kinds of things. Now that $3,000, remember, when I tapped, who paid for that? Was it me? The bank paid, right? So my bank account is completely untouched, right? So the money that I've earned stays in my bank account. What's my money doing while it's still in my bank account? It's earning interest, right? Now, eventually, I'm going to have to pay that $3,000 back. Eventually. But if I can hold it off, right? If I can hold on to that amount of money for an extra 55 days, and if I can do that constantly, then I'm going to make interest back on that, and it really makes a difference. It adds up. So have a look at this with me. Let's read it together. This is the March statement, okay? So at the beginning of the month, the 55 days, it starts ticking as soon as the month begins. And you will have what's called a credit limit, right? Generally, I think if you get a credit card, if you've got a credit history, etc., it starts at like $4,000 or something like that. And they'll want to increase it. I'll let you have a think about why banks are so keen on you increasing your credit limit, okay? Now, the 55 days begins, and then you start to use your credit card to make transactions, okay? Now, this 55 days, it starts from the first day of the month, okay? So when you buy this furniture a week later, okay, think about this. How many days do you have left to pay off this amount?
48.
It's going to be 55 take away whatever number of days has already passed, which is 7 days, right? So I guess you've got 48 days to pay off this thing, right? What about the hardware?
Not so
Even less, right? 16 days have passed, so I guess you've got 39 days to pay that off. And if I've got things that are closer to the end of the month, then I have progressively less time to pay them because they're all counting 55 from here. Okay? The closing balance, right? That's how much I owe them. That's how much I owe the credit card company. But they're going to ask me to pay. Now here's why, right? I ask you to have that there with you, right? Very frequently, a card will have a minimum payment that they're requiring you to make, okay? So there's they're gonna not charge you interest, but they're still gonna say, look, low rate, low fee, they're gonna charge you something, okay? So therefore, on this plan, the minimum payment is $10 or 3% of the closing balance, okay? So this kind of represents your credit card monthly fee. It's not paying off your debt, it's just the fee that you have to pay just for the right of using the credit card, okay? So 3% of this amount. 3% of this amount is $52.41. Okay? So that's more than $10, so they're going to charge you that amount. Okay? Due date, 24th of April. What is that?
55 days.
It is 55 days after March the 1st. Okay? Now have a look at the next month with me. April. This is the next month. What's happened? Read it with me. What's happened? They've bought some more stuff.
They bought some jeans.
Then they said, oh, I better pay off. Now why is this amount what it is?
Because that's what from us.
Yeah, that's right. That's what was still owing, and that's what you should do if/when you get a credit card. Don't let that debt sit there, because as soon as you pass this, they're going to charge you exorbitant interest rate amounts, right? So it pays it off, and then there's more transactions. By the way, waited until the very last moment. Why?
Because he wanted
Maximum interest. Because I want to maximize the number of days when my money is still my money and it's earning me interest.
You know what makes